Hey everyone, it's Hindash. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is such a special video for me because I am here with my mom. As you've already read from the title and the thumbnail, this video is going to be me doing makeup on my mom. And of course, to celebrate Mother's Day, this was the perfect chance for me to get my mom on my channel, and she has been wanting to do this for about 4 years now, so I'm very excited to finally have her on. And Timmy is clearly very excited as well. Okay, so where to begin? My mom is very extremely good at makeup, and she loves a liner, she loves kohl in her eyes, she loves that intense eye. So I had to beg her to take off the liner, and I don't think it could really ever be completely removed because I don't think I've ever seen her without eyeliner inside her eyes. And it is what it is. But you know what, I love that, and we spoke about it in detail, and we talked about how she cannot go on without eyeliner, and I basically had to beg her to just remove a bit from the lower lash line. We tried, and I made her a promise that I would put it back on. So I really love my mom's commitment to eyes, and I guess this is where my obsession with eyes comes from. So to say the least, this won't be a very supernatural makeup look because this is me and my mom doing makeup. I had to go for it. I had to give her the full glam experience, and this is what she loves. And of course, I will be talking more about my preferences versus my mom's preferences as I'm doing her makeup, so it's going to be pretty insightful. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. It means a lot to me, and of course, this is my mom on my channel, so it's a pretty big deal, and enjoy it. All right, so here we have my beautiful mom, and we are going to be starting off with skincare as always, and I'm going to be using my favorite mist. This is one from Tata Harper. It is the floral mist, and I really love it. And again, this just refreshes her and gets everything ready for skincare. I'm starting with the serum, and this is from Dr. Barbara Sturm, and it is the Super Anti-Aging Serum. And I'm going to be rubbing that all over the skin and tapping it in and taking it down the neck as well, and just make sure that we have all the areas covered, and just tapping it in until it absorbs. Next, I'm bringing back my cryo balls, and these are very popular on the channel, and I really wanted to give my mom the full treatment. So this is great for depuffing, it's great for just refreshing the skin, and it really feels amazing. So I'm going to be doing this all over her skin, and to note, I did spray more of that spray to get the serum hydrated again so that we have a nice slip, and I did add a bit of moisturizer, which I'll show you after this. So it's important to have some sort of an oil or a very emollient moisturizer when you're doing this because you don't want to tug at the skin. You want everything to roll very smoothly, and this goes the same if you're using any other beauty tool that kind of depuffs and acts as a roller. Next, I'm going to be taking eye cream. This is from Bobbi Brown, and I've been really enjoying this. It's very rich, so I'm going to be applying it underneath the eyes and tapping it in and taking it sort of around the eye area. And again, really massaging and tapping that in so that we have that area nice and covered. And this is the moisturizer that I used earlier to give her skin some slip, and I'm going to be applying a tiny bit more and just taking that down the neck and just really massaging it into the skin and rubbing it in. And again, this is just an extra step of further massaging and treating the skin because why not? We are here. And just making sure that she has a very relaxing experience. And I'm also going to be applying my favorite 111 Skin Celestial Black Diamond eye masks. I love these. When I use them, I really feel like a lifting, tightening effect. And of course, I'm going to be using them on my mom. So applying these and then giving that about 10 to 15 minutes, I applied a light eye base on her eyes, which I forgot to film. And then I'm going to be moving on to base. I'm going to be taking this beautiful product by Auric. This is the Glow Lust, and I'm going to be applying this basically all over the face. I was sort of applying it to the high points, but it gave such a beautiful effect to the skin that I pretty much ended up applying it all over the skin. Definitely applying it on the high points and then kind of blending it out into everything else. And this just made her skin look so nice and radiant and glowy in a very undetectable way. For foundation, I'm going to be taking one of my all-time favorites. This is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. And I'm going to be applying that outwards, moving in. And using a medium fluffy foundation brush, I'm going to be really buffing this into the skin because I want to get away with the lightest layer. And then building up from there and seeing what I need, if I'm going to go in with more concealer in some areas. But basically, like I always say, I want the foundation to do all the work with as little product as I can. So basically, by doing this, you allow the foundation to reveal its true formula. So you don't want to really lather it on because then you're not going to be able to see the true effect. To add more color to the skin, I'm going to be taking the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzers. These are my favorites. And I'm going to be taking Macchiato, which is also my shade. So I'm going to be applying that on the forehead, again with the same brush that I used my foundation with. Because it has a bit of that product, so it's going to make everything blend seamlessly because you already have something to work with on the brush. So it's going to really blend everything out in a beautiful diffused way. So I'm going to be applying that on the cheekbones and the jawline and a bit down the neck as well to create a nice harmony. Slightly into the temples to connect with the forehead. And I'm going to be making sure there are no harsh lines by really blending everything into that foundation. And I'm going to stop here because I'm going to be doing some powder bronzing as well. For concealer, I'm going to be taking the KVD Good Apple Concealer. These are some of my favorite concealers that I've tried in a very long time. They are incredible and I've been using them a lot off camera. So I'm going to be taking a shade that pretty much matches her skin, which is even a tiny bit darker to counteract any darkness underneath the eyes and to act as a color corrector. And I was really surprised by just putting the color that's kind of a bit darker than her skin. It ended up really brightening everything. So I didn't go with anything too light. I just went a shade lighter for the rest of the brightening effect. So applying that underneath the eyes, on the jawline, around the mouth, and the corners of the eyes. And I'm going to be blending everything with a damp beauty blender. Again, just pushing it into the skin this time and tapping it in because I don't want to move it around and disrupt the coverage. Such a thin concealer, such a beautiful formula, very thin, lightweight, and full coverage. For cream blush, I'm going to be taking these two from Refi. Amazing products, beautiful formula. Again, I'm using everything I love, obviously, on my mom, so I'm not holding back. And I'm going to be mixing the two colors. One is more of a pinky rose and one is more of a orangey tangerine. And I'm going to be creating this custom glow on her, which, I love to mix. So applying that high up on the cheekbones because I want to lift and create this really beautiful flush of color. And a touch on the forehead. Now, as you can see, my mom has her eyebrows tattooed, so I'm going to try to counteract a bit of the color with a warmer base. So I am taking a brow pencil that's made for redheads. So this is a great trick to counteract and knock off any of the bluish and green undertones. And of course, because she has her eyebrows tattooed, I'm restricted with the shape. So I'm going with the shape that she has, which is a beautiful shape and it works great for her face. I'm just knocking out a bit of those tones and adding more of those hair-like strokes back to the brows. So after covering all of that up, I'm going to be taking a brow pencil from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is a darker brown. And kind of lightly going over the sparse areas and softly filling them in. Maybe adding a bit underneath the brow and just structuring everything. And after this, I'm going to be going in with more of these hair-like strokes with more of a brow pen. And this one is from Urban Decay. This is a brow blade, and I'm taking this in a dark brown and starting off at the tail of the brow, which is where I would want the most pigment to be. I'm going to be drawing out hair-like strokes and then feathering them in lightly when I get to the front of the brow. And of course, my mom loves that structured brow look, so I'm trying to give her what she really loves, but kind of tweak it a bit and put a bit of my spin on it. And I think you can even achieve this without the brow pen, but I'm going to stop here and kind of assess it later. I'm going to be moving on to the eyes and shaping the eyes. So I'm taking my eye tone pencil in Intra, and I'm going to start by creating a thicker liner on her. Now again, my mom loves black eyeliner, that's all she wears. So I'm starting off with the brown and then, baby steps and seeing how she feels. So smudging this with a pencil brush and really getting into the lash line. I'm going to be creating this elongated and lifted eye, which is what she loves. She always has a very pulled out winged liner with black inside the eye. So I'm kind of trying to do the same shape that she loves, but with a different color story. So we're starting off definitely with the browns, cleaning up a bit of that shape underneath. Next, I'm going to be taking my Beautopsy palette, which as you can see is my mom's favorite, and she loves neutrals and earthy tones, and this is her go-to. I'm going to take Intra from the palette, which matches the pencil, and I'm going to be basically smudging that all over the work that we've done. And this just brings back the warmth in it and really adds that intensity. So we're working with a lot of layers here to create more of this multi-dimensional eye. And same thing on the other eye. And what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be taking a bit of Tan and Feel, the two lighter browns, and kind of smudge that and blend it all around the shape that we've done to create that diffused airbrush blend. So going back and forth until you're happy with the blend. I keep doing things in tiny steps and going back to different colors and, seeing what's working with her eye shape and what I want to add and what tones I want to sort of change. But for now, this is a great step that I'm doing for blending everything. So I keep going over the edges, and as you can see, it really softens everything up. And then I can go back in with Intra again, the chocolate brown, and get back that intensity. I'm going to be taking Tan on its own and applying that on the lid. As you can see, it looks very light on my mom. It's like a highlight color. So tapping that on the lid with a fluffy dense brush. And then, like I said, going back to Intra with a small pencil brush and really kind of bring back that definition. And switching brushes back and forth with the brush that I used to blend everything with, just so we get a seamless, nice blend. I'm going to be dipping into my Monochromance palette, which she also loves. And this is something that's really cool. So we're taking Match Made, which is that mustard, and I'm going to be blending all the edges, and it kind of knocks out any ashier tones and creates a nice warmth on the eyelids. We can obviously do that with Beautopsy as well, but this has that really interesting mustard tone that's going to complement my mom's skin beautifully. Next, she's going to be taking Intra all over the inside of her waterline. Now, she usually does this with a black, so this is already a very different step for my mom. And I promised her I would be using black, so I'm bringing out eyeliner, and I'm going to be lining her lash line, but also really winging it out, following that shadow work that we've done. And this is where our preferences come in. I would do a very thin line on mom, and then just rely on the browns for more of that definition, but she loves the black. So I am going to be smudging it with black from the Beautopsy palette, but first smudging it in with an eyeshadow brush to kind of get that pigment nice and going. Doing a bit of touch-ups underneath the eye because I haven't set anything before I continue. And the reason why I'm doing this now, even though I'm not done with the eyes, is that it kind of helps me see the eye shape when it's all nice and clean. So adding a very little amount, it just kind of blends into the skin. So again, she loves a smokier eye, so I'm going to be taking Feel from my Beautopsy palette, and this is the medium brown, and I'm going to be smudging it on the lower lash line. Again, because we put Intra inside the eye, this is going to really create this nice smoked halo effect all around the eye, and tie in with the black. With a tiny smudger brush, I'm going to be taking Fatum and Intra Fatum, which is a black, and smudging over the black liner that we've done with Heroline. And what I'm doing now is I'm not just smudging it out, I'm also pulling it inwards. So it creates this smoked, lifted eye look. And once we put the lashes, it really kind of elongates that area even further. And this is something my mom loves to do at weddings. So she really loves to go all glam when she has a special event, which she always does. And again, blending all of that in. She's going to be applying mascara. This is from Lancome, and she's just coating her entire lashes top and bottom, which is how she usually does it. And what I would do a bit differently is I wouldn't go as much on the lower lashes, but I still love how she does it, and I love the look. Next, I'm going to be taking my Manifesto lipstick and Rest in Roses, which is my mom's favorite shade, and she told me to apply this now because she feels like she needs something on the lips. So this is a matte balm, so it's going to act as a hydrating balm. So putting that all over the lips and rubbing it in. And then I'm going to be following up with shaping the lips. So this is basically going to be my base and groundwork for all the lip color. And it is a beautiful hydrating matte balm formula that sits really, really beautifully on the lips. For lip liner, I'm taking my lip tone pencil in the shade Hush, another favorite of my mom's. And I'm going to be really shaping the Cupid's bow and her lip line, which again is something she loves. And she loves to mix a lot of lipsticks together and mixing nudes with darker colors and really pale nudes as well. So lining the entire lip and slightly filling it in too. And this already creates a beautiful peachy tone with Western Roses. But I am going to be taking Manifesto lipstick and Call Me Peaches as well, another favorite of hers, of course. I mean, I'm going to stop saying that because it's my mom. And I'm going to be applying that to the center of the lips and blending everything outwards and into the lip liner. And I love doing this with a brush. For bronzer, I'm going to be taking this duo bronzer from Jouer, which I really love, and taking that really high up on the cheekbones, but also kind of bronzing with it. So again, following where we did that cream bronzer. Cheekbones, down the neck, jawline, and forehead. And it has a bit of a sheen, so it looks very healthy. It doesn't look completely matte and flat, which I think looks so beautiful on the skin. Going back to monochromance, I'm going to be using blush, so I'm taking Heartthrob and lightening it up a tiny bit with Alter Ego and applying that high up on the cheekbones and slightly into the apples of the cheeks, but definitely concentrating it higher up on the cheekbones, kind of where you would highlight. And with whatever's left, I'm going to be going into the temples and the forehead as well. And to kind of create a monochromatic color story with what's going on the cheeks and the lips, I'm taking a bit of Heartthrob in the crease as well to add a tiny bit more of that warmth. Again, just a touch, nothing intense, with a fluffy brush going over the edges. I really love this all matte look, but we're going to be going in with Boy Tears. So I'm taking my color fluid in the shade Boy Tears, applying that on the back of my hands and then using my finger to work it in. This is the best way to apply it on your eyelids if you really want to control the intensity and the sparkle. And just tap it in lightly, and then you can buff out the edges with your finger, but really just tapping it on is the best method. I do also take a brush to kind of really work it in if I want that scattered sparkle effect, and just to push it into any of the creases. And then again, taking more on the back of my hand, really thin it out and apply a touch down the bridge of the nose and the tip of the nose, a tiny bit on the chin and on the cheekbones. Again, using a very light amount and really working it on the back of your hand. So this is where my mom felt that the eyes were incomplete, so she needed more black. So I had to go in with liner on the lower lash line to create that kind of Sophia Loren baby wing. And I love it on her, and I'm so used to her wearing kind of a very defined eye. I'm setting underneath the eyes very lightly with my Makeup Forever setting powder. I love this powder, and this is a peachy tone. And just with a really fluffy brush, tapping it in, again, obviously using a very, very light layer to avoid any creasing and a heavy powdered look. I'm taking tan lines from my Beautopsy palette, and I'm going to be using this to kind of buff and erase and brighten the edges. So this is a great blending shade, and it's a great finisher shade to really make sure that all the edges are seamless and you have that really nice blend. And that's what I'm doing. And going back in with more blush just to really finish off the look now that we have everything in place. And I also love to add a bit of Western Roses in the end to add that warmth and to liven up the lip. And that is the final look. I really hope you guys enjoyed me doing makeup on my mom and sort of got an insight to how she loves to wear her makeup. And we had such a good time. I kind of want to bring her back on my channel, so let me know in the comments down below. And I would actually love her to do her own makeup because there's a lot that I couldn't fit in here that she does, and she has really amazing techniques. So I think we have to bring her back and have her demonstrate a lot of them. And maybe we'd be doing them side by side. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below and let her know. I'm sure she would love to hear from you. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to see more of these videos. And I'll see you very, very soon. Bye.